The latest update comes with some interesting new content, and this video quickly covers everything you need to know about version 3.7 in Genshin Impact. We finally got to see someone from Fontaine, although it's not much, just a couple of shots of the new character Charlotte. She was leading the livestream the whole time, and from what I gather, she's a reporter from Fontaine, working on a new story about a TCG event that I'll talk about in a moment. Now, I tried to scour for some details about Charlotte. I think she's carrying her elemental vision on her neck, but I'm not sure if it's a Hydro element here. It doesn't look like the one other Hydro characters carry around, although I could be wrong, but the point is, we have no idea what she's all about, besides lore-wise being a reporter. However, I wanted to showcase her as the first thing for this video. Now, when it comes to new region content, we're actually not getting that much. I guess the new big zones isn't the thing anymore for Sumeru updates, and this time around, we're only getting Yoimiya personal quest and a permanent hangout event with Kaveh. Honestly, with Honkai Star Rail coming out and so many Genshin players jumping into it, I guess it makes sense to give some more time for players to explore previous new zones that got added. Like, I still haven't fully explored the desert, and I'll use this opportunity to grab the remaining Primo Gems before Fontaine comes around. So, the big major event for this update will be the King of Invocation. It's made up of 4 challenges, first one called Tour of Wonders, where you will navigate obstacles and need to reach checkpoints to collect stamps and redeem rewards. The second mode, called 0 Hour Invocation, provides you pre-constructed decks from the organizers that you'll need to use to win the challenges. Another mode, called Evermotion Mechanical Painting, is a puzzle-solving event where you rotate the paintings and use gears to activate them. Finally, the last mode, called Heart of Dice, provides you with, well, dice to use in combat and use their elemental powers to defeat enemies. The coolest thing about this event is that we'll be getting a new limited 4-star bow. Nothing has been revealed about it, but hey, a new free weapon that hopefully works with at least few new characters. Now for some smaller events, Divine Ingenuity is making a return, also known as knockoff Mario Maker. Design your own domain with new twists, add turrets to defend the objective, or go into special challenges to collect coins to buy buffs for the areas. These are pretty cool additions for an already existing game mode, and there's more of them, but I'll leave them for you to discover when the event comes around. Now, boss mode event called Feast of the Departed Warriors is also coming with this update. Just like before, you can add tons of modifiers to make the fights insanely hard, but don't worry, if that's not your cup of tea, it was mentioned in livestream, you can get the rewards on lower difficulty. Finally, Phase Trials is making a return. Use the camera to destroy and weaken the enemies. Not much needs to be said here. As long as we get rewards for clearing things, I'm fine with it. With new update comes new characters, or, well, in this case, there's just one new 4-star character. However, Kirara actually looks pretty interesting. She's a Dendro sword unit, and she's got this amazing ability to turn herself into a cat that's shaped like a delivery box. And the reason she does this is because she works for a delivery company in Inazuma, which is pretty nice since that means she's our first Dendro character from Inazuma, and hopefully not the last one, because her kit is kind of fascinating. So, first of all, when she uses her skill, she leaps into the air and delivers a flying kick that deals AoE Dendro damage. Although it doesn't look like a big AoE, but in addition, she also creates a Dendro shield. Now, from what I understand, this isn't going to be like Baiju's shield, so it's not paper thin, but at the same time, we also officially don't know how much damage it will absorb. Now, here's the thing, this is the pressed version of her skill, and if you hold it down, she actually turns into a cat delivery box, granting the same shield and also improving her movement and climbing speed, as well as jumping power from what I understand. While in this delivery box mode, she can also ram into enemies and deal Dendro damage. If you're thinking the same thing as I am, then yeah, we've got ourselves a new Sayu here. But wait, there's more than one character she takes inspiration from. When she uses her burst, she deals AoE Dendro damage, and then it will explode into smaller mines. If an enemy gets into contact with one of these mines, they explode for more Dendro AoE damage. So now you can see she's also copying a little bit from Klee. Finally, Kirara can also approach critters who drop meat without startling them. This is definitely one of the biggest meta changes when it comes to hunting down the prey. But yeah, Kirara basically looks like a mix between Sayu and Klee, while at the same time she's also a shielder. Now, it's a bit of a bummer we're only getting one new character and it's a 4-star, but the good news is, the banners for this update are looking pretty decent. So, in the first phase, you'll be able to pull for Yae Miko and or Yoimiya as well as Kirara, although we still don't know the other 2 4-stars that will be on the banner, but Yae Miko has definitely come a long way after Dendro got introduced. She's definitely better than when she first got released, mostly thanks to aggravate reaction damage she can cause from her totems. On the other hand, Yoimiya hasn't changed much. Going with the usual double Hydro supports or building Hyper Yoimiya to cause a ton of single target damage is still the best approach if you want good results. Now in Phase 2, things definitely get a lot more interesting. We've got Alhaitham and Kazuha on the double banners, and it's great to see the Maple Syrup Boy making his yearly appearance. Although, he might be surprised that Animo isn't isn't king of the meta anymore. Don't get me wrong, it's still a really powerful element, but a lot of the teams and Abyss buffs specifically target Dendro comps, and while you can mix the two together when you're going for Hyper Bloom teams, I haven't seen it show up that often in community data. Overall, I feel kinda conflicted about these banners. On one hand, Kazuha is finally here, so here's your opportunity to snag him before he disappears for another year. But then, at the same time, Kirara isn't on the same banner as him. Even if she might have good synergy with Yae Miko, it's pretty clear Kazuha is going to be in high demand, so separating the two isn't ideal for those who want a rare Anemo unit and a new 4-star Dendro Shielder. Since one of the major events is going to be revolving around the TCG mode, you'll probably need to dust off your decks, and so the update will be introducing quite a few new cards, including the 4 Archons of the game. And not only that, but the update will introduce a ton of new content for the TCG mode. We'll be getting new players we can challenge in the open world, new tavern challenges, and more. But the biggest thing, in my opinion, is that Hoyoverse finally gave in, and they are introducing a proper PvP mode for the TCG. In this mode, you will need to win 5 times against other players. But here's the catch. You only have 3 hearts. You lose 1 heart if you lose the game, so 3 losses and you're out. I think it's about time we can test our decks properly, instead of relying on inviting random friends. Matchmaking is going to be a godsend for this mode, and I'm actually excited to play this mode again. I'll be honest, I haven't been playing TCG for a while now, but this new mode makes me want to build the best deck and see if I can get those 5 wins. But if that's not enough, we're also getting a new PvE mode called the Forge Realms Temper. I think it's like a boss challenge similar to Hearthstone, but you can also add modifiers to make the fight be more difficult. Overall, I am super stoked for TCG, and I think some of these changes were needed to revitalize this mode. This isn't really a new feature coming with the game, but what we just saw was probably one of the most bizarre sneak peek reveals of Fontaine. So basically, in this really short clip I'm gonna be repeating here, we see some underwater setting and the traveler slowly swimming, and then the live stream just ends immediately. On Twitch, it even looked like it was an error and the stream crashed. But I think on Chinese live stream, it was basically the same, just a really small sneak peek at some underwater action. I guess that's all we're getting this time around. But anyway, to quickly summarize, we won't be getting any new Archon quests or zones. Instead, another Yoimiya story will be added into the game, which will focus on her visit to Sumeru, and we will also be getting a hangout event with Kave. Next, a major event focused around TCG will be taking place in Mondstadt. 4 different challenges will be waiting for us, and the biggest reward will be a new 4-star bow. Now, when it comes to banners and characters, Kirara, along with Yae Miko and Yoimiya, will be available to pull in the first phase of the update, while in the second phase, Kazuha is finally making his yearly return, along with Alhaitham. Finally, a lot of new additions are getting introduced for the TCG mode. The most prominent one is a PvP matchmaking mode, where you will need to win 5 times to clear the challenge. But that's pretty much it. Aside from the weird intro we got about Fontaine and Charlotte showing up, I think this update has a couple of interesting things going on, but it's pretty clear Hoyoverse are slowly gearing up for Fontaine release, and I'm not sure about you, but I could really take a break from all the desert exploration and jump into a new and exciting region. I know a lot of players are focused on Honkai Star Rail, and Genshin usually has content drought around this time, so let's see how this works out in the next few months. Anyway, I hope you found this video useful. Make sure to press the like button to help support my channel, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.